Good afternoon and happy Easter to all. I am Nicole McDonald, welcoming you back to the Information Command Center for our COVID-19 response here at the National Television Network studios. We continue to thank all our partner stations for joining with us in this simulcast. We are here for an update from Prime Minister Honorable Alan Chastanet and Chief Medical Officer Dr. Sharon Belmar-George. In the last update by the Prime Minister and the CMO on Sunday, April 5th, the Prime Minister explained that the island would be shifting from a 24-hour curfew to a 10-hour curfew, which began on Tuesday, April 7th from 7 p.m. to 5 a.m. We were also informed that zoning would be implemented, and we were updated on this by Economic Development Minister Honorable Guy Joseph and Police Commissioner Milton Daisy. That was on April 6th. Since then, it has been quite an eventful week for our country. The Government of Saint Lucia further extended the shopping hours. The Prime Minister has also reassured us that supermarkets and small shops will not be closed. And of course, the Prime Minister also unveiled on Wednesday evening his social stabilization plan for Saint Lucia, which will target persons who have lost their jobs due to COVID-19. Since the last update, many have been concerned about what comes next, what's the way forward, and this is what today's update is about. We begin with the CMO just to provide us with an overview and an overall analysis of where we are at today. Dr. Belmar?
Thank you very much, Ms. McDonald. Good afternoon to all, Honorable Prime Minister. On behalf of the Ministry of Health and Wellness, I wish you all a peaceful and blessed Easter Sunday. As we acknowledge the Easter season for reflection, I acknowledge the many St. Lucians who sacrificed during the last few weeks to preserve the lives of the elderly and the most at risk by staying at home and heeding to the advice of the health authorities. We acknowledge the notable improvements in the behavior of our citizens in relation to the prevention of COVID-19. I also recognize and acknowledge my hard-working and dedicated team from the Ministry of Health and Wellness, the frontliners, our nurses, the doctors, the support health facility staff, the fire officers, the police officers, the port control officers. They risk their lives daily to protect us. As of April 11th, 2020, the World Health Organization has reported a total of 1,610,909 confirmed cases of COVID-19 globally, with 99,690 deaths. There are now 536,664 confirmed cases in the region of the Americas. As of April 12, 2020, Saint Lucia has recorded a total of 15 confirmed cases of COVID-19. The first 2 cases were repatriated to the United Kingdom between March 24th and 25th, and 4 of our remaining cases have since recovered and discharged from hospital care. Last week, the public health team at the Ministry of Health also took the opportunity to step back, review what has been put in place, access our position in that famous curve, analyze the data so far, and prepare the strategic pathway on the way forward with our national response for COVID-19. In summary, we note that 77% of our cases are female. The majority of the cases fall into the category of 45 to 49 years of age. 64% of cases report a travel history. To date, all of the confirmed cases are recovering well with no complications. We continue to report 0 deaths of COVID-19 in Saint Lucia. The contact tracing process has had significant gains in identifying people at greater risk of exposure and bringing individuals with symptoms into care in a timely manner. This success is in great measure the result of the willingness of citizens to collaborate with our teams, and we at the Ministry of Health are very grateful for that support. In January of 2020, during stage 1 of COVID-19 planning, the main objective was source control. During this phase, the public health strategies included the preparation and completion of COVID-19 National Plan, establishment of the COVID-19 Coordinating Committee, regular consultation with the regional public health agencies, the activation of the National Health Security Committee chaired by the Cabinet Secretary, extensive health education, strengthening and monitoring of the ports, instituting travel restrictions to reduce importations from high-risk areas, healthcare facility preparation, procurement of personal protective equipment, extensive training of healthcare workers, including fire service and police, and non-health stakeholder consultations. As we moved into stage 2, with the confirmation of imported cases and the start of community spread, the main objective was containment, to slow the increase in cases, to flatten the curve. The public health strategies included aggressive public education, exhaustive case finding and contact tracing, the establishment of local testing, the 3 hotel quarantine sites, the establishment of the respiratory clinics at strategic points to ensure access to care, the setup of the respiratory hospital, increased medical human resource with the arrival of the Cuban doctors and nurses, the use of the 311 hotline for dissemination of general COVID-19 information, the establishment of the clinical mobile services to support medical and psychological care. In anticipation of in-country transmission was the implementation of more rigid social distancing measures, which included the cancellation of mass crowd gatherings, the closure of schools, the closure of the ports and cruise industry, the establishment of the national curfew, and a 24-hour shutdown period. Although St. Lucia has not quite reached stage 3, which is identified by the establishment of community spread, many of the measures related to stage 3 are being implemented as part of a proactive approach. This includes the activation of NEMAC by the Prime Minister, Honorable Alan Chastanet, the establishment of the Unified Command Center from the Office of the Prime Minister, the establishment of the curfew and the 24-hour shutdown. This present stage that we are in right now is critical. We need to keep focused on sustaining the gains made nationally in keeping the curve flat. It is imperative that we work together to keep our population safe. We are not out of the woods. We are still at the beginning of the COVID-19 threat. Every single one of us must take personal responsibility to facilitate the process. Our requests from the Ministry of Health are very simple. The first one, stay at home. Only leave home for food or medical reasons. Number 2, wash your hands frequently and use hand sanitizer when hand washing is not possible. I think by now everyone knows the message of wash your hands and use hand sanitizer. The third one, cover your cough and sneeze. Number 4, wear a homemade mask when going out. Please reserve the surgical masks and N95 masks for frontline workers who need it because they are in direct relation to persons who may be positive. Number 5, adhere to the rules of physical distancing, which is a minimum of 6 feet away from any other person. We need to behave as if every other person has COVID-19 and behave accordingly. Number 6, protect the elderly and population at risk in your community. Number 7, access the 311 hotline for general information, the clinical telephone lines for medical information, our respiratory centers around the island, the respiratory hospital for care if you develop fever, cough, sneezing, or sore throat. The last recommendation, ensure that your information is from a legitimate source, which includes the Department of Health and Wellness, the World Health Organization, or the Caribbean Public Health Agency. Together we can combat COVID-19.
Thank you very much, Dr. Belmar. I now invite Prime Minister Honorable Alan Chastanet to just bring us up to speed on some of the latest decisions.
My fellow St. Lucians, first of all, happy Easter to all of you, and I wish you best wishes during these very difficult times. And maybe it's very apropos that in having Easter over this weekend, and certainly what is confronting us, to us genuinely reflect on the meaning of Easter. Based on the information that the CMO has provided, Cabinet has been guided by the command center and made recommendations for the upcoming week's operations. And before I get to that, I certainly want to, I think on behalf of all St. Lucians, to commend the CMO's office and the CMO herself, as well as all of her staff for the outstanding job they've been doing. The Ministry of Health, the Minister of Health, all of them have been working collaboratively together, not only in dealing with COVID, but also, as we remember, in moving in and operationalizing OKEU, and we've been hard at work operationalizing Victoria Hospital while maintaining the respiratory centers in the communities and still operating the isolation centers that we have at 3 hotels. While it's always very difficult as a Prime Minister to distinguish or recognize or separate any group of persons, certainly today, I think it's very appropriate for me to single out a particular group of people that are nameless and faceless to many of us, but it's their efforts and the detail and the professionalism that they conducted those efforts that has made a significant difference as to where we are today. I have always learned as a policymaker that sometimes when we make policies, how those policies are actually translated to the ground sometimes makes you wonder whether we're all speaking the same language. So it's a very difficult thing to create a policy and then to see the exact result that you were hoping to achieve when you have policy. But I can say in this particular case, this group of people have really blossomed. And I think that they have been the backbone of what we're attempting to do. And I really talk about the team that works in the CMO's office that do the contact tracing. If you would have noticed that in the last cases that we've had, that many of those individuals were already identified. And those individuals were either in an isolation center or were in home quarantine and being observed on a regular basis. It is the efforts of those contact group and the cooperation that they got from the community that the CMO spoke about that has allowed us to stay ahead of this disaster. And I just wanted today to say, on behalf of all of us, thank you. The CMO also indicated all the individuals on our front line, and I could never say it enough because they are truly our heroes. The nurses and everyone who works at the different hospitals, the doctors, the administrative staff, the security at the hospitals, all the persons at the airports and the seaports, the SLASPA, the stevedores, the security, the port police, our firemen and firewomen, our ambulance drivers, all of them are playing a significant role. Our customs officers. And now that we've opened up some of our operations, our gas station attendants, persons who are working at the grocery stores, persons who've been working in delivering food for many of us, both on an order basis as well as the social programs we're doing, the staff up at NEMO and all the volunteers that came up in this very difficult time to be able to support us. So the list goes on and on of individuals that have certainly made a significant difference, and as the CMO has indicated, have put themselves on the front line and exposed tremendously more than most of us who have one simple obligation, which is to act like we're in quarantine, meaning stay at home when you can, only leave home to be able to go to get groceries or get gas or to get some money. But the idea of staying in a car and just driving around and basically going to other people's homes is still prohibited and not recommended. I want to say to all St. Lucians that your government in no way is resting on its laurels. And while we have been fighting COVID for stage 1 and stage 2, and as the CMO has indicated, we are preparing ourselves for stage 3. And so the operationalization of Victoria Hospital and getting more equipment and making sure that we have proper PPE supplies to be able to deal with an outbreak is well in hand. The Cuban doctors now have all been registered here locally. My understanding is that they're going through an orientation at OKEU and preparing themselves so we understand everybody's proficiency in English and being able to translate. And we're also having someone accompany them that also speaks Creole. So to make sure that when they are dealing with our local population, that they're fully equipped from a linguistic perspective to be able to communicate to their patients. But we will not rest in our efforts to make sure that despite the results that we've had so far, that we are fully prepared. Corona has proven to be very elusive, and there are many times in which countries or communities have believed that they have won the battle, only a couple of days or weeks later to find out that it had only taken a reprieve and it now had come back. So the fight's not over. I also want to say to you that we have to learn how to live with COVID. It is going to be required that we're going to have to open up the economy. We cannot keep our economy and our traditional way of life at abatement while we're doing this. But we've learned a lot about COVID. And we know that what the CMO and her team and PAHO and WHO have said are working. With good protocols, washing your hands, proper hygiene, social distancing, wearing your mask, these things work. Not foolproof, but they work. And I cannot tell you how proud the behavior of St. Lucians over the last 72 hours that I've been to be your leader. I'm not telling you every single person has adhered, but the vast majority of people have. And I want to continue to applaud those that understand what we're attempting to do, and to continue to encourage that you communicate and help educate the persons that don't. We need empathy. We don't need to be yelling. We need to be able to make sure that everybody clearly understands that this is for their own good. So given the report that the CMO has given you, and given the report that was presented to Cabinet, Cabinet has agreed to maintain the existing partial shutdown, scale-down operations for the period of April 14th until April 26, 2020. We've agreed to expand the activities under the hardware service as well as home suppliers to include emergency renovation and maintenance activities at the household level to facilitate water storage, plumbing maintenance in preparation for the drought alert. And I know that there are many solutions that are handymen and have probably been equally frustrated that they're at home and there's so many things that they could have done at home. So this is to help you be able to get access to the materials that you would need to be able to continue repairing your own homes, as well as preparing your home for the drought, and certainly preparing your home for the upcoming hurricane season. We have the hardware service will also include home suppliers and activity stores such as SNS, Voyager, and Flavia. Those companies will apply through the Ministry of Commerce, and the Ministry of Commerce will work with the Ministry of Health as well as the Ministry of Security to make sure that they're fully aware of the expected protocols now that we've extended the responsibility of being able to open and provide additional services to the public. I want to re-emphasize adherence to physical distancing protocols and other public health protection guidelines at all levels of operation and ensure consistency in messaging. Continued non-compliance to physical distancing protocols and public health protection guidance may result in suspension of service and imposition of extended curfew. The Ministry of Commerce, as I said, will be in collaboration with the other ministries, will work with the public and private sectors for a phased reopening of the economy. I also want to say at this time that we've agreed at Cabinet to appoint a committee to work with the private sector and all the public health departments to start now putting the protocols in place for the full operationalization of our commercial activity. I'm indicating to you we're putting a plan in place, but we have not implemented that as yet. We are going to maintain the partial shutdown until April 26. And at that point, we're hoping to be able to announce the full opening of the commercial activities in St. Lucia. But again, that's going to depend on the results over the next couple of days, as well as the recommendation of the command center in doing so. But we certainly want to start preparing ourselves for the possibility of being able to open up all commercial activities in St. Lucia. So again, I want to thank all of you for your efforts today. Again, I want to echo the sentiment of the CMO. These efforts were necessary in order to protect and save lives, particularly the lives of the more vulnerable in our society. Persons who have diabetes, the persons who suffer from hypertension, persons with respiratory ailments, elderly persons, and anybody with a weak immune system. This is who we've done it for. And many of these people are family members, are our neighbors, our friends, and certainly associates at work. So I think that we have done an incredible job so far. I think we have to be very proud of what our achievements are. But as the CMO has indicated, this fight is not over. We have a long ways to go, but we need to continue doing what we're doing. So again, I want to thank all of you for your support and your prayers that you continue providing, not only to me and my cabinet, but also to our nation. So again, thank you.
Thank you very much, Prime Minister Chastanet. Would you please advise, though, on the curfew time for the same period, just to get specific in terms of the time?
So the curfew time remains exactly the same, which will be from 7 o'clock at night until 5 o'clock in the morning every day. So we will not be returning to a 24-hour curfew. But the curfew that we will have will be accompanied by the remaining partial shutdown of our commercial sectors, with the addition now, in addition to the grocery stores and the gas stations and some of the delivery restaurants, we're now going to be opening up hardware stores, and also we're going to be opening up, I think we call them home suppliers, to be added to the list. And this is again in preparation for both the drought that we're facing, as well as in preparation for the upcoming hurricane season. So again, let's use the time wisely. As the CMO indicated, this is not another reason to continue liming in town. And I know that many of us like to do that. But please, come out from your homes, get your job done, and go back home and continue to enjoy the benefit of your family time. And let's use this time wisely. Because it may never come back again that we can spend this amount of time with our loved ones.
Thank you, Prime Minister. Just a quick one before I go to a question for the CMO. With regard to the zoning, will that continue as well? And why was it so important to do that?
I think that everyone can see that when we first opened up, what we were trying to avoid was everyone rushing to one set of stores. And so the purpose of the zoning was certainly to be able to use Soufriere and Vieux Fort as the centers in the south, and then to use Castries and Rodney Bay as the two centers up north. And this is why the two Denneries were included in the northern track, or as we call it, 758. And then on 759, they would have had Soufriere and Vieux Fort. But these things were put in place specifically to be able to control the crowd. And to remind us that this was not a privilege to start liming all over the place, and that there were still constraints, and that we were encouraging everybody to be able to go home. And I think that that's why it was so important that the CMO and the command center advised us that to have had the 24-hour curfew on Friday was important, again, to continue to remind everyone that we're still in a state of emergency, and we're still fighting this battle. And this battle to be won requires you to stay home and continue to practice these things. So we are going to maintain the 2 zones for the time being. And as soon as we are given the all clear from the CMO, then we will now reopen the country as business as usual.
Thank you very much, Prime Minister. CMO, just a quick one for you. One of the questions we keep getting, especially on our Facebook page when we post updates, is why we keep counting some of the cases that have recovered and the cases that have left the island.
Once you have a case that is confirmed within country, it registers as a case. So we need to, it's cumulative, so we have to keep adding them up as a total. But I think it was important. A lot of persons were asking, what about those who have recovered? So we will be including this into the dashboard so the public can be aware. We also note that there's a lot of fear and anxiety, and when we look at what is happening in the outside world, it is understandable. So it's important that the public also know that a lot of persons get COVID-19 and they recover. And we also want to ensure that those that recover are received safely with no stigma and discrimination into their communities.
Thank you very much, CMO. Also, with regard to contact tracing, which the Prime Minister did speak about, why is the stay-at-home order so important when it comes to contact tracing and helping your team?
With a disease such as COVID-19, which is a respiratory disease, the break in the transmission is extremely important in reducing the number of cases. With any one positive case that we get, the number of contacts could be up to 50, up to 60, depending on how active that person is. When you institute a stay-at-home regimen, it limits the number of contacts that any one person can get. So it really reduced for us during the week where we intensified, and our teams have been working in the communities and on the ground to pick up every single contact of our confirmed cases. If you get a new case, it reduces the number of persons that they would have been in contact with. Because if you just track 3 or 4 days of your life, you've been to the supermarket, you've been to get fuel, you relate to a lot of people on a normal basis. So by staying at home, we break the transmission, we reduce the person-to-person contact, and it has proven in the countries that have been successful to reduce the number of cases and the development of the outbreak.
Thank you very much. As we wrap up, I just want to go back to the Prime Minister very quickly, just for a final Easter message to the people of Saint Lucia. It's been a very hard road for us over the last few weeks. Just some motivational, encouraging words on this day.
Certainly, we are reminded on a daily basis that we are in God's hands, and we have to have faith that what He is doing is for the right purposes. Like you have been sadly to many funerals where people have taken ill suddenly and died for no known reason. And we have to learn, and I've witnessed it with persons with deep faith, that they trust God's decision. So God has a plan for us. But that doesn't mean that we are to sit down and wait to see that plan unveil. There still is a part for all of us to play. And it is in the values that we learn through the Bible and through many different denominations of religion. All of them share one common thing: mutual respect and caring. And once we have mutual respect for each other and we care and we have empathy and we're humble, these are all the values that are taught to us, and we put these things into practice, that is how we're going to make it through this situation. So when I say that we need to be each other's brother's keeper, this is the right thing to do. And what Christ died for us for, to forgive our sins and show that He could rise from the dead, is inspiration for us all. That as bad as it is, that we can come out of this and that there is a second coming. So I want all of us to continue to have the faith, but at the same time recognize that we must play our part. And that part is guided by some very simple values: humility, mutual respect, empathy, and love. And I certainly look to the Lord every day for inspiration. And I recognize that I'm only capable to do what I can do. And so therefore I focus on the things that we can change and trust the Lord for all the remaining things. But I get out of bed and I am empowered by His wisdom and His inspiration. And I think that we should all be at this time.
Thank you very much, Honorable Prime Minister. Thank you very much to the Chief Medical Officer for the update today. Just to recap, the Government of Saint Lucia will maintain the existing partial scale down of operations until April 26, 2020. I also want to update the public that the Minister for Education, Honorable Gail T.C. Rigobert, will deliver a comprehensive update on the education sector, the plan for the third term, the CXC common entrance, and all those things that are weighing on people's minds as well, and a general update on the education system and the response from that front. That will air this evening at 8 p.m. right here on the National Television Network. Also this week, you would know that the Ministry of Health and the Office of the Prime Minister has launched a website dedicated to COVID-19 information. St. Lucians can get that information at covid19response.lc. And of course, you did notice our set was a little bit different today. That is because the National Telethon is on today. So please stay tuned for the National COVID-19 Response Telethon, which starts from 2 p.m. and goes on till 6 p.m. and will be live on this network and other partner stations. I see the Prime Minister signaling me, so I'll just have him to say a few words on the telethon.
Yes, please. I certainly want to thank Minister Dominic Fede, Pinkley Francis, my wife, Ms. Phillip, Ms. Beverly Dottie, Nathaniel Auger, and I know there's, our very famous here, Davina Lee. We had a team of 8 persons that were working to put on the telethon. And so they have been able to get a tremendous amount of support and cooperation from within the government and within the private sector. And persons who are giving both monetarily, persons who are giving in spirit, and certainly a lot of people who are giving in kind. And I believe they've also put a GoPay platform, a FundMe platform. And I believe it's already collecting monies from the diaspora and also from tourists who've been to St. Lucia. So again, I want to thank those individuals for their incredible effort in making this happen. A lot of hard work.
Of course, PM, we also want to thank all the artists that are donating their performances.
Yes.
Yes, towards the telethon. So this is a virtual telethon geared at raising funds for personal protective equipment for our frontliners, and of course it's also going to support our our feeding program,
which starts today.
Thank you very much once again to the Honorable Prime Minister and the CMO. Thank you, St. Lucia, for joining us. As I said, stay tuned for the telethon, and also stay tuned for an update in Creole from Mr. Carlton Cyril. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Jim Joseph, President of the Beausejour Community Group. We believe St. Lucia can win the war against the coronavirus, and here's how. Every community in St. Lucia must mobilize, coordinate, monitor and support residents the way we would before, during and after a natural disaster. Identify volunteers in your community, assign them roles and deploy them. Ensure your elderly and vulnerable understand all protocols. Help relatives, shield them from unnecessary contact with others. Identify those recently unemployed and vulnerable neighbors living alone. Put systems in place to filter updates from official sources throughout your community. Promote the hotline number 311. If it takes a village to raise a child, then all of us can come together to defend the village against the coronavirus. Let's do it.
Together let us win this war. Said we shall be a soldier. Together we can beat this corona.
Ben, moi dis bonjour et merci pour vous qui écoutez nous en station sur radio l'autre pays nous a dit bon Pâques pour tout le monde quand vous avez COVID-19 j'ai changé bagaille by tout le monde quand vous bien savez attendre premier ministre a adressé nation et puis 6 mois en chaque information sortie en adresse là mécanique ba ou ça qui est bien important premier ministre ni SIMO raison adresse ça qui ça qui prend coup les vini pour affaires adresse premier ministre là et puis merci premier ministre.
So I want everyone. I've been hearing the stories that we have now a new Creole Prime Minister. That's cool. So I just want to say you've been doing an amazing job.
Thank you
very much.
Thank you very much. Merci Anchai.
Okay.
Okay. Oui. Eh bien, ça, c'est le Premier ministre là, quand il dit un petit merci pour le travail qui nous continuons à faire ici. Comme bien dit, nous t'étions 6 mois à parler avant. Parmi les 6 mois mené pour attention cette liste, ou qu'ils savent, les vini pour connaître avec vermin COVID-19. Là, où ils savent commencer depuis les 11, ça c'est le 11 avril, ils ont apporté la terre, là, n'est plus passé 1,6 million de monde qui a confirmé qu'il y a 20 ça. Et là, à peu près 99 monde en plus, jamais. À présent, monsieur Yoka confirmé l'avenir pour l'Amérique avec ses places à 10 millions de monde en vision ça a trouvé quoi affecté parmi yo là ces places Caraïbes. Cette liste pas pièce différence. L'avenir pour nous ici au Caï savent si mois de nous ni 15 cas cette liste 15 cas, 2 cas qui deviennent plus bons, c'est mon ça yo Javier voyo via l'Angleterre en masse et puis là ici au Caï savent là ni 4 qui a trouvé quoi yo recouvert et puis yo Javier yo kayo et puis là nous va commencer nous va continuer excusez-moi combattre vermin Covid là. Si un mois aller pour dire les yo examiner information yo ni à peu près nous avons 77 en ces gens qui ont contaminé 20 c'est femmes. Les vini pour ces gens l'âge dit à peu près 45 pour 49 ans. Nous avons un lot 64 excusez-moi, c'est gens ça c'est gens qui ont voyagé hot cette ici et vie entrer en place là. Quoi là si moi a dit raison que nous trouvons quoi nous côté pays a trouvé quoi la clé et puis nous en condition côté ramade nous pour wete kay nous place business fermé parmi l'autre action c'est parce que ça t'est en manière pour faire assurer nous chaîne et nous empêcher vermin Covid là s'immerger quoi pour raison ça pays a tenu pour trouver quoi fermé si moi a dit nous tenons pour faire assurer moun qui sorti l'autre place l'autre pays expressément place qui était trouvé quoi contaminé pas mener entrer ben nous place business et puis d'autres actions trouver quoi point coup si moi dit raison nous tenons pour faire ça c'est parce que là où vermin ça a commencé Casimé c'est là où ni problème à sous la main. Pour raison ça nous tenir action ça qui point côté pays a de trouver quoi la clé pour 24 néditant après analyser ça qui fait là 6 mois dit yon c'est bagay là qui bien important c'est date qui les vini pour 20 maintenant li et puis c'est moun qui a travaillé puis là yo ni pour faire assurer les yon moun contaminé trouver quoi yo contaminé puis 20 COVID-19 yo ni pour vier oui passer tout partout moun ça passer pour yo ouais ça qui c'est moun ça yo même te trouver quoi yo en contact puis et mener ces moun ça en tuer pour yo pe ouais si c'est moun ça même trouver quoi yo affecté et qui dit c'est pour raison ça yo vini puis décision pour faire assurer pays a te trouver quoi dans des différentes zones quand là où ils savent si un mois en tout ça il dit tout ça qui a fait là c'est là yo analyser ça qui fait et action yo supposé point quand ça c'était yon ces raison là vini pour ka met pays en des zones, yon en nord là, yon en sud là. Il dit raison de ça, c'est pour faire assurer moun wete en pays en caillou, moun wete en commune, qu'on a fait plus aisé pour yo ça fait travail yo. Là vini pour contacter avec vieux oui passé avec côté moun qui trouvé quoi yo affecté teye et pour mener ces moun ça dedans. Enfin si moi mandé moun toujours changer au niveau de caillou, changer, continuer laver la main avec sanitizer aussi. Il vient demander moun aussi si ou en public eh ben si ou pièce côté ou ka tousser en bois fait assurer ou bawe bouchou et ou continuer qu'à mettre masque là ou en public. Il dit ces bagages ça nous ni pour tenir en place toujours. Là il venu pour premier ministre là présent annoncement avec parole hord premier ministre là c'est dat qui parmi l'autre bagaille il souhaitait pays a bonne Pâques ou kay savent aujourd'hui c'est Pâques demain c'est holiday Pâques quand il souhaitait tout le monde en bonne Pâques et qui dit il même ni pour point temps pour oui merci si moi que c'est mon qui travaille et puis yo spécialement pour travail là yo va faire. Il dit en chaque conseil cabinet qu'a joindre avec yo même qu'a hen c'est as a résultat du travail là 6 mois et que c'est mon qui a travaillé puis a fait. Pour raison ça ou kay savent messieurs dames là premier ministre a pris décision là il venu pour lier puis cabinet et monsieur ça premier ministre là annoncé. Pays a kay été fermé mais pas pour 24 heures de temps mais il continuer été fermé 7 heures au soir pour 5 heures bon matin. Ça va continuer commencer les 14 avril pour les 26. Encore moins vieux répéter, premier bagay premier ministre jadi annoncé, c'est date qui pays a été en bas curfew qu'on nous a crié mais ça a été pour pas pour 24 heures de temps mais pour 10 heures de temps qui c'est 7 heures au soir pour 5 heures bon matin et encore ça a été pour les ça a commencé continuer les 24 pour les 26 avril. L'autre bagaille le premier ministre notre annoncement premier ministre fait c'est date qui l'a vini pour business qui ça ouvert à présent yo kay quitter place qui ka vendre marchandises pour ranger rénover caillou ranger cité nous et ben ranger rien ou ni caillou yo kay permettre ces places ça pour ouvert. Raison de ça premier ministre dit c'est parce que ou kay savent là ni en chay moun qui brise faire adjustment vieux ranger bagay qui croiser dommager en caillou. Il dit aussi nous en tant qu'awem quand nous briser ranger puis faire assurer nous ni glo nous préparer comme nous pour tant qu'awem qui nous inspire à présent et puis pas ça tout seul saison cyclone hurricane qu'a approché quand yo prend décision pour ouvrir ces places là qui ka vendre ces marchandises là qui ka assister moun ranger bagay kayo ranger faire rénovation et préparer koyo pour hurricane quand on savent place comme SNS Voyager Flavor ces places ça place qui ka vendre ces matériaux comme ça ces places ça ka trouver koyo ouvert. L'autre bagay le premier ministre l'a fait est bien clair c'est là vini pour distance moun ka été yon a l'autre Et puis là, messieurs dames, pour vous qui te écouté KV, nous avons apologie pour vous savez, depuis où agir et puis équipement, ou ni ces problèmes, ça nous tenons une difficulté ici, et puis équipement là, mais nous javier, moi, point apologie encore pour ça qui passe, management, et puis je travaille ici à point apologie pour, moi, je continuer, là, venu pour ça, Premier ministre a annoncé, quoi, moi, je dit, là, venu pour place. Premier ministre a dit parmi ces places là qui sont ouvertes et ben qui sont ouvertes pour business, c'est ces places là qui sont vendre marchandises ou qui besoin pour faire pièces rénovation en caillou. Et bien dit ça c'est pour caillou, là il pour faire citerno, là il pour faire fêtaille caillou et ben rien qu'on et puis expressement là il vient pour tant kawem nan nou dan là premier ministre là dit OK bay mon opportunité pour faire préparation, là il vient pour l'inglo yo et ben pour amasser glo et puis là il a dit ils savent saison cyclone là nous saison hurricane quoi yo kay permettre ces places ça pour ouvert comme on te dit place qu'on SNS place qu'on Voyager Flavor c'est place ça kay ouvert ou kay bien savent ces places ça été fermé bah 24 heures de temps et qu'on pays a vie ouvert là moi te dit aussi là il vini pour ou qui kay do en public premier ministre là vie fait nous changer qui dit pas oublier ou ni pour changer pour mettre massou, ou ni pour changer, ou ni pour changer distance là de pour en public. Yon moun avec distance ça c'est 6 pieds. Ou ni pour faire à 6 ou changer ça. Premier ministre l'a dit si moun pas katan, si yo observer ça yo mette en place là moun pas ka suivre li, yo pas ka ni pièce choix puis pour yo vier mette en 24 heures de temps curfew eh ben prend conseil hod CMO. L'autre bagay la premier ministre a dit en présentation c'est date qui là vini pour vier ouvert Saint Lucia pour business. Yo ka consulter et puis c'est gens officiel santé à CMO et ces gens là et ben l'autre gens en public secteur public et privé et puis là yo kay vini dans yo kay faire décision manière pays a kay vie ouvert quoi là mi monsieur adresse premier ministre là il était voulait dire aussi qu'a souhaité tout le monde en bonne pas comme était dit et qui dit yon ces bagaille là nous ni pour changer les vini pour nous quand les hommes et citoyens Saint Lucia changer messieurs nous ni pouvons pour yon a l'autre frère nous cesser nous aider yon a l'autre dans temps qu'on à présent nous ni pour ni la foi nous ni pour prédier et nous ni pour changer bon Dieu là puis nous pas oublier pour parler bail Mazen Nicole Mazen premier ministre là pour conformer qu'il est curfew à point coup qu'il est moun supposé en dedans et sort dehors et puis la premier ministre a dit c'était pour 5h bon matin ça c'est 7h pour 5h bon matin ça va continuer et il m'a dit une explanation là il vient pour zone là et encore premier ministre a dit deux zones yon qui c'est nord et puis sud ça c'est pour faire assurer moun wete en communion ça c'est assurer pour faire assurer CMO et puis c'est moun qui travailler puis là les yon moun trouver quoi yo contacter 20 000 il fait plus aisé pour yo même ça vie passé quoi côté moun ça passé si moi ba exemple là pour dire les yon moun contacter 20 000 Covid là et si ni pour marcher il a dit appui il a bail appui 50 moun il peut bail 20 000 quoi bien important pour moun wete la caillou fait assurer ou laver la main, fait assurer ou mettre massou là en public, fait assurer ou chain distance là. Et là mais si nous fait ça comme ni l'habitude qu'a dit ici avec maintenant pas qu'à marcher, c'est moun qui ka marcher tout bagaille qui sauve et puis ça c'était commission hod premier ministre là et puis combien ça mais c'est moi aussi et puis moi mais dans langue nous tout peut-être ça comprendre et chenni est bien coûte une information juste pour public là pour savent honorable Gil Rigobert il a adressé nation au soir à 8h quoi veille pour ça à 8h il a adressé nation et nous ca et puis nous quand nous finissons ici, nous entrons dans le téléphone, et puis le téléphone, quand le Premier ministre là, c'est une activité qui a amassé l'argent, c'est les gens qui directement involvés envers le COVID-19. C'est les gens qui ka bay la vie yo ka prend risque là les il vini pour ça qu'on avait pour ça nous kani là même rester en écoute et puis nous merci en chay et nous ka joindre encore monsieur en dans moment merci. Yeah, now, monsieur.